Ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in on a Thursday. Hey, we've done a good job training you this offseason. You know what Thursdays mean around this platform, around this channel. It's your show. It's the show of the week that is yours. In a minute, we're going to give you a live Q&A here in just a little bit. We got a little opening rant to start with you. You know, it's 3 MBRs a week sometimes around here. You know, we had a week off last week, had takes just building and building and building. And you know what? Your boy's got to get him off his chest every once in a while. So we got a rant to get off today to start the show, but it is Q&A. So start loading those questions up in the live chat now. We will hit them. Hey, couple of rules around here. Super subs get hit first. And please put an actual question mark on your question. Chat gets pretty loaded up. Y'all start mingling amongst each other. And I love that in the chat. But it makes it really, really hard for me to go back and scan through these things live during the chat if it gets all bungled up without the cues. So great to have you here. Hope you enjoy it. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get after it. All right. Hey, we're going to play a clip right here. I want you to listen to it. We played a couple of clips this week. We had a clip earlier in the week about Kirby Smart talking about the quarterback position at Georgia, how they need decision makers, right? They need guys that can control things at the line of scrimmage, make some decisions from a plethora of choices and get after it at the line of scrimmage. It led Tennessee fans to get rather defensive. They're back at it again. Let's listen to this right now.
Our guys control everything. I don't think there's anybody in America that puts more on their quarterbacks. Run checks, run pass checks, load the boxes, alerts, kills. They got to do it all. And so he's highly instrumental in the efficiency and effectiveness of our run game.
So I want to make a couple things clear here. I don't necessarily believe the question was even phrased around Georgia football, so it's not even that. I think this was a great job by Josh Heupel of doing what coaches and good coaches are there to do. Good coaches are there to defend their players with whatever words they need to say to defend their players. Okay, so I want that to be, he did it in a great fashion. He did not do it defensively. He did not do it aggressively. Hell, he didn't even, make note of anything, any other offense, right? Like, I think the mistake, and it's not even a mistake because Kirby's a national title winner 2-time now. The mistake that he made in his comments the other day was just talking about, he should have just talked about his offense, right? Instead of talking about other offenses that play fast where they take it off of the quarterback, he should have just said, we put a lot on our guys, right? This is a great job by Heupel of just defending his guy without throwing stones or any possible stones, because I don't think that's what Kirby was doing the other day. I think it could be interpreted that way, though. Doing his job of defending his guys without any stances or any, comparisons, all right? The comparisons that we're about to make are brought to light by Tennessee fans using this audio clip today and kind of defending or, contradicting what Kirby Smart said the other day. And I don't think the two are connected. That's what I'm just trying to tell you. But let's state a couple of facts after we let you listen to the audio clip one more time here, because it's a short one and he says a lot of stuff here. As we got to replay it.
Our guys control everything. I don't think there's anybody in America that puts more on their quarterbacks. Run checks, run pass checks, load the boxes, alerts, kills. They got to do it all. And so he's highly instrumental in the efficiency and effectiveness.
All right, so just a couple things here. Run checks, pass checks, reading boxes, alerts, and kills. Not to attack or anything. That's basic football, guys. If your quarterbacks aren't doing that, I can show you really, really highly sophisticated high school offenses that are doing basic stuff. Kills, check with me's at the line of scrimmage, all that basic stuff. That's basic common football knowledge nowadays. It doesn't really have anything to do with the argument of will Tennessee quarterbacks or will Tennessee's offense be applicable or translatable to the NFL level, which is the matter of discussion right now, okay? Apart from Georgia, Tennessee, let's just talk about Tennessee's offense as a whole, because it is draft time right now, right? It is draft time, and these guys are getting evaluated. Guys like Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt, right? Two guys that are going to be drafted relatively high in the NFL draft, and they're going to have question marks about their ability to translate to the NFL because there are several question marks about this offense as a whole, okay? The offense at Tennessee right now is predicated off several things. But most importantly, we're going to talk about three things tonight that are vital to the success of the Tennessee Volunteer offense, which, by the way, is elite in college football. They score points. They put up yardage at a rate, both running and passing, that is elite. It is a great college offense that is predicated off of hashes, okay? They do a bunch of their work into the boundary. They are an into-the-boundary football team. They like to space you out, okay, and spread you out as far as possible while attacking you on the short side, okay? And it is extremely short in college football. We'll talk about that in a second. So, one, hashes, all right? Two, they're also predicated on college run blocking schemes like most college football systems are nowadays, all right? The ability for offensive linemen to get downfield, get their hands on linebackers potentially, while also requiring those linebackers to play in passing lanes, really complicates the run scheme, really adds value to their run scheme, okay? And a third thing, they are predicated on pace. They will not shy away from that. He will tell you that. They want to take as many shots and take as many plays as humanly possible when need be. If they are up a billion, they don't run fast. If they are down a billion, like they have been against Georgia the last couple of years, they play slower as well. Okay, so those three things, right? Hashes, college run schemes, and pace. Those three things are vital to the success of Tennessee football. Those are facts. I think that is undeniable, all right? And if you want to argue, that's fine. But here's the problem. Hashes, a.k.a. pace, or space rather, the pace of play, and the college run blocking systems, all of those combined with a lot of ingenuity, right, in their system, are the reasons and cores to their success. None of those things are applicable in NFL football. The hashes are 40 feet apart in college football. They're 18 feet apart in the NFL. So when the ball's on the left hash, it's not that big of a difference, all right? In fact, it's 9 yards of a difference in between the college hash or the NFL hashes. 40 feet down to 18. It's a lot. That's a lot of difference in two styles of football, meaning the systems, being able to, spread guys when the ball's on the left hash, being able to put a bunch of a receiver way outside the numbers on the right side of the field, and then stacking two receivers, one of which runs a 4-3-8 into the boundary. Those things do not become as drastic when you have shorter hashes. It's a matter of fact. All right. The college run blocking systems, being able to get downfield, that speaks for itself. Yes, you can do it to an extent like the Philadelphia Eagles have, running the RPO systems, creating passing lanes much wider and much easier for your quarterback to process. Yes, 100%. You can apply those things to some extent in the NFL, but it is not your bread and butter. It is not something you can build your core system around. And the pace of play that Tennessee plays with, it's kind of simple that you can't do this in the NFL because you have 140 guys on your roster in college football. You have 53 on your active roster in professional football. Depth of rosters will not allow you to play this fast. Simple. So when I tell you that, right, when I give you all of those facts and the simple fact of turn your TV on, college football fan, turn your TV on, football fan, listen to this right now, Tennessee fan, turn your TV on. Be reasonable. Watch Tennessee offense. Turn tape or turn the game on of what Sundays look like. Those Sunday offense looks a little bit like college football now. It looks nothing like Tennessee. Tennessee is like college offense on steroids. It is taking all of the advantages of college rules. It's not applicable in the NFL. So if what you play in, Jimmy, Johnny, Tommy, whoever, for the rest of time, if what you play in, whatever system that is in college, if I have no precedence for it in what I play in at the next level, how do I do anything other than project? How do I do anything other than have questions? Because I don't have proof of concept. So it's not to say Hendon Hooker, Jalen Wyatt can't do things that NFL football players are going to be required to do. You have to go dig for it if you're an evaluator. Yes, they run similar passing concepts to an extent that NFL teams do. A dig is a dig. A slant is a slant. An inward breaking route is an inward breaking route. A choice route is a choice route. All right, yes. But the whole entire system, not exactly translatable and applicable to the NFL. Georgia, on the other hand, yeah, 100%. By the way, I have these same questions. NFL teams have these same questions about USC, okay, about Ohio State, all right, about TCU's offense coming out this last year. You don't think the big wide receiver is going to get questions about what route tree he can run? He's getting them right now. This is common football. Just like Stetson Bennett is going to get questions about how good of talent he had around him. Oh, well, what happens if we don't put 25 5-stars around you? Everyone has their questions. All right. So when they come about your program, don't get uber defensive. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We got a great show for you guys tonight. My 10 minutes is done. The rest of the show is yours. So hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. However, wherever you found us, glad to have you in here. Let's start rattling off some Q&As, man. Love doing this stuff here. I feel like some of my best work, some of my best takes come from these shows because you guys catch me off guard and you get kind of an honest opinion most of the time, like this question right here. And also, they had a scrimmage tonight, and I've already got some intel, and I haven't delivered all the nugs. Y'all not going to get everything here tonight, but questions like this, you'll get some. Nyland Green, here's the question from Patrick M. Who's your pick to start opposite K3 come fall? I love A.J. Harris. It's a great pick for Patrick. I think he is in heavy contention, as are a bunch of guys. But I think tonight, the guy that got the nod first with the first unit was Nyland Green. So there you go. It's Nyland for me. It's Nyland and Dalen Everett, 50-50 coin flip for me to start. And I think AJ gets run. I think Julian Humphrey gets run. I think Smoke Bowie gets run. I think this Georgia defensive back group, and you will hear me say this multiple times tonight because I guarantee people are going to ask about it. I think this defensive back group for Georgia is going to be the most unique and the most diverse group that they've had back there. Probably, like me personally, I'm super fond of that 2019 group, the one before Devod Wilson kind of tapped out. All right, when you had Tyreek Stevenson, Devod Wilson, Mark Webb, Richard LeCount, J.R. Reed, Tyson Campbell, Eric Stokes, DJ Daniel before his foot injury. That's 8 guys, folks, that can freaking go. And I know I'm missing a couple too. So it's going to be as deep and probably better than that group. So, yeah, I'm super excited. They're going to play a bunch of football players there. I'm super excited to see what they do. When I say I'm super excited, I mean, like, yeah, they're going to play great. It's going to be fun to watch from a football person's perspective. But schematically, what do they do? That's what I'm excited to watch. Here we go. Musclamp asks, do you think Starks has the potential to be the best DB of the Kirby era? Yeah. I mean, he'll certainly be drafted the highest. I have an affinity for watching Richard LeCount. Always will, always have. Watching him play at Georgia, to me, was my favorite because he was so instinctual. And if you watch me, if you ingest our content, there's nothing I root for more than watching a not so physically gifted football player beat physically gifted football players to a spot or to a location or to a play. That for me, man, that like it accentuates what I do. Because what I do, what I preface myself on is like the basis of knowledge I have based off watching and studying and pouring myself into learning football. When I watched Richard LeCount, I could see his either giftedness for knowing football or his like admiration and willingness to seek knowledge about football. You don't move first. You don't act first. You don't strike first unless you study and know. All right. So that's what I enjoyed watching about him. But yeah, I enjoy some of the similar things about Malachi, even in his freshman season. Physically, though, there's one of one. Malachi Starks is one of one. He is as big, fast, and strong as any defensive back they've ever had. Maybe the most physically gifted they've ever had. So that's insane. Besides running back, what other positions may we look at in the portal? I think is what Thomas, my boy from Colorado, tried to put in here. So it's a simple portal question here. When it comes to portal, okay, it opens, by the way, in 9 days, April 15th. If you're not on Patreon, you don't know that. It's okay. You should be patreon.com/Brooks Austin, just like you should hit the thumbs up button on tonight's video. Running back, portal. Who are you going after? If it were my roster, running back for sure. We'd be looking into that. We'd be surveying the land. We'd be taking a look, seeing if we can add some quality depth. Don't think you're in search of a starter. I think you got two quality starting caliber running backs on your roster right now, if and when healthy. Neither of which are there right now. And I think Branson by September is going to be a third. So I don't think you necessarily need like a high end guy. I think you need like another quality guy. And of that variety at the running back position that is out of the backfield. You got guys that can tote the rock at Georgia right now. You do not have guys that can run out of the backfield and give a little shimmy shake to an outside linebacker or a linebacker in space or a safety or whoever's trying to guard him. So that's not on your roster. And if it were my roster, I would be searching the portal daily, hourly, by minutely, by minute to see if a defensive tackle or a nose tackle popped in. I'm worried. Like I think Nas Stackhouse is a great football player. I think he's going to be as serviceable of a nose tackle as humanly possible, not named Jordan Davis at the University of Georgia. He's going to do a great job. But if he gets his foot stepped on, like what happens? I know Jamal Jarrett's going to be a good football player. He's not. I don't think he's ready this fall. I don't think he's going to be ready for this fall. Jordan Davis was not ready until week 9 of his freshman football season, and he turned out to be a top 15 pick. Okay, so I feel like sometimes when we expect freshmen to walk in, particularly offense and defensive linemen, y'all are batshit crazy to think people are going to walk in off of high school streets and be great like week 1. Bear Alexander took like 6 weeks, and he was even spot playing before. And he like flashed because he flashed in like 25 rep increments over a 70 rep sequence, right? It's very, very hard to come in and play true freshman football. So I'd be looking interior defensive line, see if there's a veteran that you can go grab out of the portal. I think we already talked about Turner's question there with the running back. Biggest sleeper chain in the chain restaurant industry. You know, honestly, man, like, I might get some slack for this. I think Chili's is kind of popping. I mean, baby back ribs, barbecue sauce. I'm telling you, I think Chili's is kind of popping. Now, Chili's was extremely underrated when they had the real chicken crispers. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the puffy ones, the pastry ones. Well, they were like, you bit into them and they almost felt like they had air, and then chicken breast tenderloin. You know what I'm saying? I'm so fat. Anyways, that for me, probably Chili's. And the bean dip. I don't even think they make that no more. So Chili's, if you're listening to me, you used to be the most criminally underrated fast food or chain restaurant in the chain restaurant space. Now, because you cut corners, you got rid of the bean dip that come out with the little plate with the handle thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, with the thin ass chips. Okay, y'all got rid of that. Y'all got rid of the cups that had slits in them that could literally like stick and stack. You could like stack them like that and carry them around. All right. And y'all cut corners on the chicken crispers. Y'all fix those 3 things. I'm up in there popping the Chili's off every single Friday. All right. Other than that, get out of here. What is the largest photo you have received in the mail? Potato you have received in the mail? Marion, I don't know who Marion Campbell is, but Marion is like an avid watcher. Marion gets the show, all right, for sure. Because Marion out here always telling me to plug Gramco, not even sponsor no more. Always telling me to plug the Gramco. Always asking about intricate like show details like this. Shouts out Marion Campbell. Marion Campbell, find me somehow. We got merch coming. We're gonna get you some of that. That's right. We got merch coming. Anyways, largest potato I've ever had sent to me in the mail. Nunya. You know what? Y'all, whoever the potato man was, or female, whoever the potato person was, y'all don't even know my new address. So what's up? Stop sending potatoes though. The people that just bought my old house, they're gonna be like, look at this joker right here. What is a potato? Why am I getting a potato in the mail? What y'all think about baby Jordan Hall? Big baby Jordan Hall. I think Jordan Hall is going to be a great football player. Going to take some time. Again, as all front line, football players do their freshman year. Who gets first pick 6 for UGA this year? I say Julian Humphrey. I'm going to go Kamari Lassiter. Bro, Kamari Lassiter, a dude. Like a guy. Like going to be Probably gonna be like a top 40 pick next year. Just one of them lowly 3-stars out of Tuscaloosa Academy. I think he might have been a 4-star. It's funny. Georgia finds these guys early, and they immediately start just right up the rankings. I mean, like Monroe Freeling was a classic example. Y'all, I mean, everyone gets the bump, by the way, because and I don't even blame recruiting services. I don't blame recruiting ranking services. I don't at all. They're doing their job. They are supposed to be a direct response and reflection of what college staffs think of football players. So when Darius Smith commits to the University of Georgia out of Appleton County, Georgia, and ain't nobody seen that avatar nowhere, ain't nobody seen him play, and all of a sudden he's a Georgia commit, yeah, his ass should go from a 3-star to a low-ranked 4-star. And then when he runs sub 50 seconds in the 400 and goes out tomahawking on the basketball court, and you're like, all right, damn, we got us one. Maybe he's a high-ranked 4-star, right? Like those things are obvious. So I don't even blame those things. Again, Q&A night, we be getting on some random tangents. So UGA is leading in the recruitment for Rayola at the moment. Do you think that us losing the commitment from Deuce Robinson might affect his commitment to UGA? Asked D-Course. Here's my intel on Rayola. Rayola, super professional, first of all. Dad played 12 years in the league. I think it was 12 years in the league. Center. Dad's lost a ton of weight. Got to get on the diet that Papa Rayola's on, because center down to like, you know what? I take that back. He got NFL money. There's no tell. I'm not claiming he owns something, but he got access to stuff I don't have, like personal chefs. You know what I mean? I ain't got one of them. That's why I'm fat and overweight. Because I don't have a personal chef. What are we talking about? Rayola. The relationship is him and Kirby, and he's a professional decision maker. That whole family is. So I don't necessarily think like one player's recruitment impacts another. And here's the other reason I don't necessarily believe. I don't subscribe to that theory anymore. Like you won't. I mean, I don't know why I would knock on wood. This isn't permanent. This isn't evergreen, but this isn't a staple for us. Like you don't see us writing player A wants to play with player B recruiting stories anymore. Like when I first got into this business, full like transparency, I bought into that shit hook, line, and sinker. I thought that if a player said, I want to play with player X, that was bottom line, period. They going. Like, hey, but so-and-so said such and such. And it rarely, if ever, turns out that way. Just like, the Jeremiah Smith connection to Dylan Rayola, is that really true? I don't know. I will tell you this about, the Deuce Robinson decision. I mean, that seems pretty clear to me. That was about profile, okay, and ability to opt out and either match what it is with MLB compensation or keep that option still wide open. I don't think Deuce plays both in college. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not a generational D, but at the same time, is this defense the most talented of the Kirby era? No. I was having this discussion with the Discord earlier today. Jalen, it blows my mind, so I have to stop. Trayvon Walker, Jalen Carter, Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis, Quay Walker, Nolan Smith. All right. That's 6. That's 6 first-round draft picks on the front 7 of that defense. The best player of them all in college, in my opinion, was Nakobe. That's 7. And then Channing Tindall was a third-round draft pick and still playing in the NFL. That's 8 NFL football players just on your front 7. I don't know if you'll ever match the talent that 2021's defense had. I just don't know if it's possible. Like, even if you matched it, how do you have more? You have 2 first-round linebackers on that roster. Like that's it. That's how you do it. Because I think Smile is going to be a first-rounder. So you replace Smile with Nakobe. That sounds like out of this world stupid. Doesn't even make sense. You had 6 first-rounders, 2 third-rounders, all playing in the box. There's 6 positions in the box. at the University of Georgia. It's stupid. No, I don't think you'll ever match that. Um, so no, it's not the most talented ever. Tennessee doesn't want to accept some stuff there. Is 2023? I don't know what that maybe tight end room here as complimentary as 2020. Oh, team. This is a misspell of team from Robert here. Is 2023 team as complimentary as 2022 team? So Georgia's offense last year was extremely balanced. They were very, very multiple. If you heard football coaches talk about their offense last year, you heard how many different things they felt like they had to prepare for, how multiple they were. That to me is a definition of complementary football as well. I mean, I guess the definition of complementary football, if you were to extend that into like a full like scope about football, you would start talking about how well the offense coincides with the defensive game plan. Like what y'all are doing offensively, how well does it keynote what you do defensively? I think every single football team that Georgia has, because they're well coached and Kirby's a good organizer of talent and assets and resources, you're never like completely unbalanced and you're never a non-complimentary football team, right? Your defense, if they need to play more advantage or more interception friendly, or they need to chase more turnovers, or they need to get off the field faster, like I always feel like your defense can always play whatever it needs to. Offensively, you've been constantly morphing and your defense kind of been it the whole time. So complimentary football, I think is I think you've always been complimentary. But in terms of will you be balanced? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be as balanced this year. I think you're going to be a little bit more of a passing football team, a little bit more of a throwing football team this year, or I would be. The talent stacks up that way. Let's see here. Remember, make sure we're always hitting the question marks. Robert with another one in here. Does 2023 D have lower points per game allowed than Georgia in 2022? I think they were like just under 13 points per game in 2022. I think they'll still be the same or close to it. Let's see here. Is CJ Washington still hurt? Asked Chris M. So CJ Washington, for those who don't remember, had a pretty severe neck injury the fall of his freshman year. So that was last August. I don't know if CJ plays football again. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't heard of him practicing, so let's see. FJ says, will the second title defense be tougher than the first, even with the teams like Bama losing Young, Stroud, et cetera, et cetera? FJ, the most important part about, and thank you for the super sub, by the way. The most important part about your question here is the fact that you're talking about the landscape of college football, which to me, dude, I look around college football and I see nothing but questions. I see questions at Ohio State. I see defensive questions at USC and conference like ability questions. They seem to constantly slip up out there. I have questions about Alabama, obviously. I have questions about Clemson. Like, are you going to sit here and tell, like, guys, think about this. Listen to me closely. Pull in close. There are going to be national media pundits this fall that put Florida State in the college football playoff. You heard it here first. It's going to happen. And people are going to be like, well, I can see it. Like, that's where we're at right now in college football. There's not a bunch of answers. There's a bunch of questions. And the only question you have really at Georgia right now, in my opinion, is who's going to be the quarterback? Is he a baller? I don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback. I have a good inclination, I think. I'm standing 10 toes down on kind of what we reported preseason or pre-spring camp. And come the end of it, we're probably going to stand 10 toes down on it again over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. But whoever wins that job, we don't know nothing about that dude as an actual football player. We don't know who Carson Beck is. We don't know who Brock Vandagriff is. We probably won't until like 4 or 5 weeks into the season, until they actually have a real opponent. So we don't know. But the rest of college football is a bunch of we don't knows. There are so many questions. Hey, Brooks, who do you Georgia next commitment? So Jamie, super sub here, asks basically who's going to be the next commitment. I don't like to spoil kids' announcements. I will say that I'm pretty sure we're going to be shooting a commitment video soon. So it's going to happen relatively soon. I think you're going to get the ball start rolling here soon with all of these classes. But you got to think right now. I mean, let me pull it up. But I believe in the 2024 class, all right, Georgia already has 11 commits. If you were to take a look just around like the SEC, for example, all right, if you were to take a look around the SEC, all right, schools like LSU have 12. That's a lot. But like Tennessee has 6. Okay, South Carolina 6, Florida 5. Clemson only has 6. I know they're outside the SEC, but Alabama 4. You have 11 commits in the 2024 class. Guys, you are so far ahead of schedule than you normally are right now. Like normally right now, Georgia fans are sitting on their hands going, we're only ranked 14th on the recruiting rankings. Ah! Only to finish second or third overall. And right now, you're number 1. So right now, Georgia's doing something on the recruiting trail they typically don't do. Typically, they're playing from behind. Believe it or not, think about it. Every time they've won a national recruiting title, they have never led wire to wire on national recruiting titles. They've always been December flips. There's always been October flips. There's always been July runs on football players. Right now, you're 40%, 35% done with your football recruiting class in 2024. I don't know who's going to be the next to commit. I don't think you necessarily need anybody to commit right now. I think you need to figure out who wants to come to Georgia and then I think you need to figure out who you want to come to Georgia and then go chase those commitments. That's where Georgia is right now. Georgia is where Clemson thinks they are. Okay? Clemson, for years, has been doing this. I think it's stupid. Clemson's been doing this goofy thing where they make Clemson offers like think they mean something by withholding them. You know, they haven't offered a single football player in 2025. David Sanders, the best football player in America in 2025, has no offer from Clemson. He lives like 45 minutes down the road. No offer. Because they think they're like special. You're way ahead of the game right now in 2024. And I believe in 2025, I don't know how many commits you got, but I bet I think it's like 6 or 7 already in 2025. Let me pull this up. There's 4. There's 4 commits already in 2025. So you're good. You're good. You're way ahead of schedule. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. We are way ahead of schedule on these questions, but keep rattling them off. We're going to catch up as the night goes on. Appreciate you guys for being here. It's a loaded up night. It's the end of the week, even though we do have an interview tomorrow with a Georgia legend. So super excited to have him on the show. We've already done, I've already spoiled the news. Aaron Murray coming on tomorrow. We're going to watch some football. We're going to talk some football. We're going to have some fun. So stick around. It won't be live. It'll be up whenever it's up. Don't ask. Don't tell. Actually, do tell. Tell all your friends. This guy's so good. This guy's so good at plugging his work. Alan Berry says, not a Georgia question, but is Alabama traveling backwards in time with Reese and Steele? Is it a good thing? So no, in terms, I get what you're saying in terms of Reese's offensive systems can seem to be of older times, right? Tight end heavy. I think you saw some H-back work, definitely some under center, too tight type deal, I-back, I-formation type deal stuff at Notre Dame. Over the last couple of years, they felt very ground and poundy at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly, where Reese came from. However, that is a very young football coach. That is a guy that knows modern football and probably shift into whatever he needs to, more to like metamorphically morph into whatever he needs to match modern football. That's what young football coaches are required to do. Okay. And this is why I'm not necessarily against hiring older football coaches. I just know how humans work. Older football coaches are very entrenched in their own ways. Okay. Older people are entrenched in their own ways. They like things how they like them. They do not change. All right. They don't necessarily adapt. All right. They kind of do what they do. They know what they know, and that's what they go with. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, the game's passed them on. Young football coaches cannot afford to do that. This offensive coordinator in Reese is in the ascension of his career, hopefully. That's what he aspires to do, aspires to go on and be a football coach or a head football coach, I would imagine. I have some people in that building believe they're kind of morphing him to be the guy after the guy. They want him to be Saban's replacement, maybe, potentially, morphing him into that, molding him into that. Kind of some tea leaves there. But so I don't think you're necessarily on track there. With Kevin Steele, however, that's like the antithesis of what we just talked about. Like Kevin Steele, to me, I know he's a smart football coach. In fact, I have always admired watching his game plans. I think he puts together great plans. I think he had the best game plan I've seen, or I saw in 15 cracks at it in 2019 against LSU. If y'all remember, you probably don't. You can check the box scores. He held that LSU offense to 23 points, lost at home with that Auburn defense 23-20. Bo Nix threw a couple picks. All right. But nonetheless, they gave that Joe Burrow-led offense a real problem. And that was all Kevin Steele. And then you saw defensive minds try to copy, including Kirby Smart, try to copy what Kevin Steele was doing. That happens every year with Kevin Steele's defense. My problem, Kevin Steele's an odd front guy, like traditional odd front, not 3-4 odd front, not mid front odd front, not Alabama, Georgia odd front. And I'm talking over your head here, but he is a 3-3 stack guy, if I remember him correctly. He is chaos. He is odd down, true odd down, 0, 4 eyes, both sides. That's who he is. That is not what Bama is. So who's morphing? Is Bama morphing or is Kevin Steele morphing? Because old coaches don't morph. I just told you that. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I just know when Kevin Steele's given his opportunity to do what he wants, he runs odd stacks. He runs odd-based defenses. When he's asked to do what other coaches want him to do, like down at Miami, when Cristobal made him become a 4-2-5 mid-front defense, guess what? Next thing you know, you're giving up 500 goddamn yards to Middle Tennessee State at home. Blasky Ernest Green, hey, when we talk about fights and we talk about battles, I take the nasty dog, all right? And that's Austin Blasky. Not saying that Ernest Green is not a nasty son of a gun, but I heard Marius Mims. I always like to try to watch the media availabilities come on before I come on here, in the little files they send us. But I was watching Mims say that like Austin Blasky's the nastiest SOB he's ever been around in his life. Like, checks out. Film guy told you that earlier in the week. We told you Dark Alley Squad, right? The Bradford bunch. He was the captain of the team. So checks out with our intel. That's a crazy SOB. So there we go. Let's see here. We got some love in the chat for the Chili's rant. I love that. Who took my lunch from fridge at work? Paul. So see, this is not something that I got to worry about because I don't necessarily have a fridge or an office space. We just where we at. So I don't necessarily have this problem, and I don't necessarily relate to you, but I wish I did. So there you go. Favorite pair of retro Jordans. I guess I don't really know. It's a tough question. My Space Jams mean the most to me. I don't believe they're retro, though. I don't believe they count. I don't know what you're counting as retro. I don't know what your sneaker lingo means compared to mine. I've moved. I used to have some threes. I've kind of moved away from them. Like these right here. Hold on. Like these right here, I've kind of moved away from. So if anybody wants these, we'll give them to you. Too bulky, too clunky. All right. And I know these are modern style now. You know, these are obviously a new release. So these aren't retro. But these bulky 2s, 3s, and 4s, I just can't wear them anymore. Ones hurt my feet like hell. All right. And I know it's the price of being beautiful, my mother would say. But I'm not wearing things that make me uncomfortable nowadays. I got a pair of Jordan trainers on right now that are hella comfortable. Bullard. Javon Bullard. Got it. Locked in forever. Not Bullard, you idiot. Is Brooks a red sauce or white sauce guy when it comes to pasta? I'm a red sauce guy. I mean, you basically just asked me if I like cheese soup. I mean, yeah, I do like cheese soup, but that's not pasta. Alfredo to me is like, why don't we just eat mac and cheese? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Italians are trying to be all fancy and shit, making white, like creamy and whatever, but you're just eating mac and cheese. It's not macaroni pasta. It might be noodles, but that's just cheese and pasta. That's what you're eating. All right. So yeah, I'm a good red sauce guy with some red pepper flakes, maybe some meat, full stop. All right. Full go, maybe some meat up in that sauce. That kind of thing. So Yeah, there we go. Let's see here. What college coaching staff is best at finding sleepers? Iowa. This is going to sound crazy, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Iowa. But Iowa, they're like 7th or 8th right now on the active NFL players list. Iowa. Kirk Ferentz. I mean, say what you want about Kirk Ferentz. He's got NFL dudes on his roster. He makes them, right? I mean, just some really good football players. The tackle that came out of there a couple years ago was really good. Obviously, the tight ends, Noah Fant and Kittle. Desmond King, the corner, came out a couple years ago. The center that's coming out either last year or the year before. They put out NFL football players every single year, it seems like. I think there's 2 guys in the NFL draft this year. The nose tackle, Van Ness, or not the nose tackle, the defensive tackle, Van Ness, is a first-round caliber football player. So, and I mean, they don't sign 5-stars at Iowa. That's not what they do. So, there you go. Maybe him. Got it. I freaking hate giving Kirk Ferentz any credit. Why is that? I know why that is. It's for a show for another day. That was the question we just hit. Ugh. I'm not, Hayden, this is going to feel like I'm attacking you. I'm attacking this take. Branson Flash late last year. Can he be Nick Chubb good? Is he up next? Stop. Everyone, stop. Listen to me right now. Stop comparing people who lift weights to people who lift weights. That's like comparing me to just somebody else who uses hair gel and an exorbitant amount of it. Just because Branson Robinson is big, strong, and was a heavy squatter coming out of high school does not mean the comp is Nick Chubb. And I know he's just the best running back at Georgia, so you're asking me, can he be that good? So, Hayden, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody that wants to compare him to Nick Chubb. He is not Nick Chubb, okay? Nick Chubb is 1 foot in the ground, 23 miles an hour, running through whoever he needs to get to the goal line. That is who Nick Chubb is. Branson Robinson is very much so find whatever space I can, eat you up in 20, 25-yard increments at most. You guys realize that Nick Chubb has every single year been in the top 5 in the data metrics for miles per hour traveled in the NFL? He is literally one of the fastest human beings carrying a football. The comp is not Nick Chubb. It's never been Nick Chubb. It's always been Maurice Jones-Drew. That's who it's always been. So, yeah, but I think he can be really good. I think he can be really good. Here we go. Let's see. We got Darius Sr. up in the show tonight, as always. My boy's a big fan of the show. I'm a big fan of the Suns' work, too. Here we go. How good can the secondary possibly be, says Rudes this year. Thank you for showing up semi-on time, by the way, Rudy. Will they possibly be the best in the SEC or top 5? I think they are going to be the best defensive back in the SEC defensive backfield. I thought last year it was I know he was on list for the Nagurski Award and stuff like that, and Chris Smith got his due and all that stuff. But I think it was very underreported how well those 2 safeties played last year. Okay. And people attacked Keeley and they did the thing at the corner position, but Georgia was top 3, I believe, in the country in passing yards allowed per game, despite the fact that their win margin was higher than pretty much everybody else in the sport. So what does that mean? What did I just tell you? Well, they were beating the dog shit out of everybody. So everybody was throwing the football, trying to get back into the game. And still, yet, somehow, they were in the top 10, top 5 in passing yards allowed per game. Make that make sense? The answer is they were really freaking good in the defensive backfield last year. And nobody really talked about it again. Everybody kind of talked about Jalen Carter, front 7 play, linebacker play great, offense, yada, yada, tight ends, all this. Defensive backfield last year was elite. And most of them come back, everyone but Chris and Keeley. So, yeah, I think they're going to be top 5. I think they're going to be the best in the SEC. I think all that good stuff. Let's see here. Is Alabama travel? We already hit that one, Alan. Are we going? Are we traveling backwards in questions? How does Georgia keep any of the QBs going portal, especially if Heuepel commits? First of all, if a 2024 quarterback commitment makes juniors and seniors, sophomores, juniors, and seniors on a college roster hit the transfer portal, hit the transfer portal. If guys want to leave because a 17, 18-year-old kid just walked in the building, they're not Georgia quarterbacks. All right. That's not what it is. They probably can't play for Kirby or Bob. Damn sure can't play for Boba, from what it sounds like. So I don't think the Heuepel commitment or potential commitment or whenever, if and whatever. I don't even think that recruitment has any impact on guys that are currently on the roster. Maybe if you sign some absolute freakazoid in 2023, but you didn't, right? You punted on the entire class. So yeah, I don't think that's necessarily an issue or a question. Now, does Georgia keep all the quarterbacks on the roster? Yeah, I think as of right now, like Brock Vandagriff is not, Carson Beck is not going to hit the transfer portal. Gunnar Stockton is not going to hit the transfer portal, not from what we've heard, not from the intel we are getting. Intel we are getting is those two guys are going to be battling it out in August. So here we go. Can we get Beamer and Smart in the ring? Can someone track this for me? I don't maybe it was him leaving for a lateral position to Oklahoma, but there is some kind of bad blood, bad beef, something between Beamer and Kirby Smart, and I can't quite figure it out. Marion Campbell asks, what about Clemson's projected new offense? I hear that they may copy UT. It's actually a Riley system. They hired Garrett Riley. They hired Lincoln Riley's brother. So it's actually what TCU was running, which is nothing really like what Tennessee does. What Tennessee runs, I see a lot of high school football teams taking. Like if you are a fan of Houston County football, that's what they run. Okay. Let's see here. Robert Howard says, so as crazy as it is to talk about a 3P with UGA's coaching staff led by Kirby Smart in their schedule, the Dogs, Natty has to go through the Dogs. Your thoughts? I mean, Georgia is the national title favorite. I thought we talked about earlier. I made my case for why Georgia, in my opinion, is the favorite to win the national title. They have the fewest amount of question marks or the most amount of answers with similar question marks as other rosters. There is a possibility that Caleb Williams is so much better than every other football player in America this year that they win a national title. Is that plausible? I give it a chance, maybe, but not a lot, right? As far as the other programs, Georgia has everything set in place except for a firm, known answer. Talent is known, like actual proof of concept, not known at quarterback. I think the talent at Georgia is far superior to the talent outside of the quarterback position in the offense of system at Ohio State. I think the same could be said about Clemson. I think the same could be said about whoever in the hell you want to tell me is coming out of the Big 12 this year. Right? So all of those things, all the above. I think Georgia has a really, really strong case for a 3P here. Guatemala Mike. I love the name. BA, do you think UGA could do like Michigan and play different QB in the first two games and make a performance-based decision? I thought the Michigan stuff was 1,000% Fugazi. I thought if Cade McNamara had any type of representation, somebody would have told him, son, I know you love Michigan, but this is not going to end well for you. If it was an actual open competition, J.J. McCarthy, second, a 5-star. J.J. McCarthy, 5-star. First 5-star that they've signed there at the quarterback position, I believe. If J.J. McCarthy is not hitting the portal after that spring, that next spring, Cade McNamara is sticking around, then you should have known the answer, Cade McNamara. I think you should have been smart enough to see that. I was looking through that Fugazi stuff from day one when the news reports hit that they're going to play two quarterbacks through the first 4 games. Stop. Now, it got made really, really easy when McNamara got hurt. I don't believe all that nonsense. Just like I don't believe in 2 quarterback systems, just like I don't believe that you're allowed to play 2 sports in college. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Tyrion Arnold, Deuce Robinson. I don't believe you're going to be playing 2 sports in college. Nobody does. Everybody says they're going to do it. They don't. It hasn't been done at a high level, like a consistent level, not just I'm going to go out and show my face. It has not been done at a high level since Kyler Murray and Jameis Winston. And guys, Kyler Murray hit 218 and played like 35 games at second base. Jameis Winston played right field because they let him, and he closed because he threw 90 freaking 5 off the bump. If these things don't happen, stop talking about them. I don't believe them. Guys, if you're being a high school recruit right now, if you're listening to me, if some coach is telling you they're going to let you play both sports in college, they are lying to you, okay? Unless they're Georgia Tech, because they have to, right? Unless they're Missouri, unless they're maybe Tennessee, if you're competing for a 5-star. It's just not the case at elite programs. If you're a 5-star football player going to a 5-star program and you happen to run track, play baseball, play basketball, whatever you think you're good at, the shit is over the moment you sign your national letter of intent. Understand that, because Nick Saban does not care. Kirby Smart does not care. Man, I feel like we're hitting all your questions tonight. Let's hit some more. We got like 5 minutes tops. Do you think Michael Williams can take the next step next year? I think the next step for Michael is just continuing to get opportunities. Man, we showed you on Patreon last year. I thought that guy was winning reps at an extremely high rate. Extremely high rate. Georgia just played a bunch of teams last year that looked like they were playing goddamn hot potato with the freaking ball. Down said Hut, get it out. Down said Hut, get it out. Down said Hut, get it out. I would love to go back and track average depth target against Oregon. I wouldn't even have to. Pro Football Focus probably does it for me, but I would love to see what it was, because I bet it was damn near negative. Damn near negative, especially balls completed. And the balls that were thrown up, I guarantee you they were 3 steps. Get to the back foot and let it rip. Let it rip. All right. We got folks talking about smoking chicken lollipops in the chat, man. We got to go. It's time to go. I mean, it's 52 minutes in. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you next week. I'll see you tomorrow. That's cap, as the kids would say. I'll see you tomorrow. Hit that thumbs up button.